Hello, everybody. Welcome back to twitch.tv/Samodian, where we are playing some more Kingdom Death Simulator. Welcome aboard. I am your friend and host, Samodian. As always, we have to start up our stream with the usual disclaimers. First of which, content warning. Darby is very upset, but you tell him, bud. Yes, Kingdom Death is a very mature game with a lot of mature artwork, as well as descriptions and depictions of violence, gore, bodily trauma, as well as descriptions and depictions of mental trauma. So, first and foremost, as always, please look out for yourselves. If you need to step away, perfectly understandable. Second up, for my Twitch viewers, if this is your first time here or if you'd like to catch up on some stuff that happened in the past, you can check us out over on the YouTube side. And for the YouTube friends, click the description below where you can find a link to the Twitch channel where we are live just about every Friday evening. Something I'm going to switch up a bit this week for the YouTube friends. I'm going to try splitting up the VOD uploads. So each stream I split up on YouTube into two separate videos. Those usually both go live right around the same time, Sunday-ish usually. So I'm going to try doing one on Sunday and one on Wednesday, so that way you don't get 3 hours worth of videos to watch at once. Split it up, because I've noticed the first video I upload in any given week usually gets a bunch of views, the second video not so much, so I figured maybe splitting up a bit gets some extra eyes on this game that we all love so much. Finally, the last reminder, and this is more for myself than for anybody else, Kingdom Death Simulator is an immensely complex game. There is so much to keep track of when you have multiple characters as well as a monster to follow up with, so I'm going to try my best to get all of the rulings right. I promise you mistakes will be made. I endeavor to try and learn from those mistakes, look up any questions I had down the line. Although it looks like we're not going to have any mistakes this week because Josh is here. Welcome aboard, buddy. However, we do have our chat command to remind me when I am perhaps forgetting something, or YouTube folks, please leave a comment. And that has been the most educational portion imaginable, is learning from all of you guys. So let's kick off tonight's adventure, where we are finally not hunting a Gorm. We have our new quarry here in the Flower Knight that we are going to be hunting. So the Flower Knight has an interesting hunt setup, because as you notice, we're not over here. The Flower Knight's hunt board is different. So you start here, and then on higher levels you move back, as well as the monster moving back. And we have a bunch of just regular hunt events before we get into the monster-specific ones. And finally, instead of the usual overwhelming darkness that takes place in the middle of the board, we have a special event known as The Forest Wants What It Wants. And we will get to all of that in due time. Additionally, since we beat the Manhunter last week, we do have a new item. Where is it? I know I have it in here somewhere. There it is. The Reverberating Lantern, where at the start of any hunt turn, I can do a special event known as Sonorous Rest, which we will most certainly do at some point. So we will also get to that when we get there. As for who is joining us, I did make a small switch since the end of last stream. Originally, I was bringing Shirley. I've decided it's probably a good idea, because we have Hooded Knight coming up in a couple years, to try and get a few levels onto our Twilight Sword proficiency. So we are bringing Violet along, who is our Twilight Sword user. Just going to realistically try to get in, get a hit with the Twilight Sword, and then get out and probably going to throw bone darts the rest of the time. Not a great idea to bring her against the Gorm, because the problem with the Twilight Sword, when you have no proficiency, the accuracy is 9. which means even in the blind spot, she's only going to be hitting on an 8, which is not going to be easy to accomplish. And on the Gorm, we don't want to be in the blind spot. So hopefully we can get some activity there. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to give it our shot because going into Hooded Knight with no levels of proficiency is just a recipe for disaster. And as she levels it up, it will become a little easier to use. Our main tank this time around is going to be our friendly neighborhood murderer in Kiko. Nothing special going on here, just lots of tanking. Yeah, nothing really to talk about there. And we are bringing out Rhonda. Rhonda's going to be a problem for the Flower Knight. So Rhonda naturally has 1 luck. She's a Fist and Tooth user. Fist and Tooth has Deadly. That gives an extra luck. She has the Lucky Charm, which if we have 2 blues enabled on our board, which we do, gives another luck. And she has the Sleeping Virus Flower. So she has +4 luck. That means she's critting on a 6. She doesn't have a lot of strength, so she's pretty much only going to deal damage on a crit, but that's a 50% chance to crit. This is going to be fun. And then finally, we're just bringing along our good old Axe user as our secondary tank with Kumar. And that's, I believe, everybody taken care of. So let's kick off our hunt and see who is going to reveal our first space. And with a 4, it is Kumar. And that, of course, as almost always, we do have 1 non-random hunt event card in here. But most likely going to get a roll, which is a 79. Dying Small Prospector. Oh boy, we got this in campaign 1. I'm excited to have this going again. Yeah, Flower Knight is pretty easy to beat up on as it is. You're not wrong. If your settlement already has a portcullis key, the prospector is gone. Roll again on the hunt event table before moving on the hunt board. The survivors discover a body slumped against a large stone face. Moving closer, they find a small dying prospector riddled with arrows. As they approach, he growls a warning, threatening them with a huge stone shard. When he sees that they are not evil monsters, he calms down and gives them a key. With his dying breath, he says, "This is the key to the portcullis. Without it, you will never get through." Record the portcullis key in the settlement record sheet notes. I absolutely will do that. Portcullis key. And then finally, if the settlement has graves, the event revealer builds a small monument of broken stone noses and gains +1 understanding. Very nice. Let me bring this up and also check that off there. Nice. And that should be the end of that event. Let's just double check. Yep, nothing else. Okay, so we got this in campaign 1. Now that we have the key, another one of these 100 random events will use that key. And I'm not going to tell you what you get. All right, but next up is... Oh, I still have her. Shirley. Whoopsie. Unassigned sheet. Also, just a bit of record keeping. We did have Lights in the Sky last event, or last Lantern Year. Bit of a misread on my part. Only one person gets the 3 extra armor to every location. It has to be someone that's insane. I chose for it to be Violet because I don't want our Twilight Sword wielder to get messed up. As for Violet, she will reveal our next, and it is just another random event with an 86. Oh, we're already here. Putrid Tunnels. The survivors smell it long before they see it, a series of cave mouths that emit noxious odors. Each survivor rolls 1d10. On a 9+, they enter one of the tunnels and discover a wretched group of diseased survivors living in filth. All survivors who enter the cave catch their foul, rotting disease. They have leprosy. Reduce all damage suffered by 1 to a minimum of 1. However, suffer -2 to severe injury rolls. Interesting. Okay. So only on a 9+. So we will start with Violet. She's okay. Moving on to Kiko. He is okay. Rhonda. Ooh, I thought that was a 9 for a second. And Kumar. Okay, so nobody has leprosy. And that's the end of that. Kiko, you are up, friend. With an 18. Dead weed. You find a strange plant growing from the eyes of a stone face. The event revealer tries to harvest it. Roll 1d10. If any survivor has a sickle, add +4 to their roll. So the tools and stuff are definitely something that are going to be in our to-do list in coming lantern years. We do not have one just yet, though. So d10 with a 10. All right. 8+, you pull the weed free. It has enormous regenerative power. Each survivor rubs it on their skin and removes 1 permanent severe injury. Did I bring anybody with a permanent severe injury? Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Ah. Kumar gets his arm back. Nice. And I was going to bring, who was it? I was going to bring Sonya, but I decided to leave him behind. Could have cured his death as well. But I'll take that. I'll take that. All right, now we get to our special hunt event of the Forest Gate, where we do the forest wants what it wants. Okay. The silence and darkness is broken by a glowing hum that whispers into their bones. The survivors test the gate. So everybody, is it everybody? No, it's just one roll of rolling a d10, and then we get to do stuff. So let's start with that d10. An 8 is a good start. So what we could do here with an 8, we have a begrudging welcome. The gate swings open a fraction. The hinges singing like a forlorn flute, playing a melancholy welcome. The survivors force their way through, each gaining a bleeding token. So here's where things get interesting. So we're going to gain a bleeding token anyway. So after rolling Test the Gate, each survivor may do any or all of the following actions once to increase the roll result. So we can gain a bleeding token to add +1. So if everybody gains a bleeding token that they would already get anyway, that brings us to 12, and we just need to get one more. So we're going to start there. Everybody's going to start off with a bleeding token. And then for other options that we have available, we're not going to archive gear. We're not going to gain a random disorder. But we are going to give one person a -1 attribute token of our choice. And what we're going to do is give... Do I have one? I do. We're going to give a -1 speed token to Violet. Because your speed, your total number of attacks, can never go before 1 or below 1. And the Twilight Sword, with no proficiency, already has slow, so she's only going to be attacking once. So this -1 speed token on Violet actually doesn't mean anything. So in total, that gives us a +5. So we have reached our 13. Wow, that actually worked out very well. I was not expecting to roll. I was expecting to be somewhere in this zone and having to do a bunch of stuff to at least get into the 8 to 12. All right. So, with gracious aroma, the survivors step through the gentle swinging gates, met by a warm, promising wind carrying a cloyingly sweet bouquet. All survivors gain 1d5 insanity and 1 understanding. Awesome. So we'll start with Violet. Give her 4, so that is 2 insanity. And her understanding, so she will trigger insight, which I believe is explore. Oh, did I mess up something here? Somebody got an understanding before. It was Kumar before. I did the wrong one again. Kumar, or was that Kiko? That was... No, okay, we're good. Got it right. We'll do insight in just a moment. Moving on to Kiko. He will get 1 insanity and 1 understanding. He will also trigger insight. For Rhonda, she will get 2 insanity and her first understanding. And finally, Kumar will get 3 understanding, and he will trigger insight as well. Let me get the Explore on here. All right. Insight. That was intimacy. Close enough. All right. And during the hunt phase, yes, we get Explore. All right. So let's just roll for everybody here, starting with Violet. Well, not everybody. Was it? Rhonda didn't trigger. So for Violet, she gets a 7, gain +3 survival and +3 insanity. That'll max out her survival. Bring her to 10 insanity. For Kiko, is that an 8? 1 +1 permanent accuracy. Nice. That's really going to help leveling up shield. And then finally Kumar with a 7. That is also 3 survival and 3 insanity. Already maxed on survival. All right, everybody's getting a little crazy. I like it. Okay, and now since we can, before this next hunt square, we will use our reverberating lantern to trigger Sonorous Rest. Like, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Somewhat unintentionally, I made this campaign really easy. I knew the Flower Knight was a little easy. I didn't know quite how easy the Manhunter would make the campaign by adding this in. So, sorry, not sorry. All right, Sonorous Rest. The survivors activate their reverberating lantern. Its unsettling vibrations cause headaches, but drown out all sound within a small area. The group can now pause safely while the lantern remains active. Each survivor has time to either rest or tune. So rest +2 survival with an additional survival for each green, or tune +3 insanity with an additional insanity for each blue. We do not have War Room. We do not have storytelling. So, and I believe just about everybody is capped on survival. 2 and 3 were train wrecks. One just didn't quite work out. Yeah, everybody's looking really good on survival. So I think we're just going to give everybody +3 insanity, plus blues, which... So that's +3 on Violet. Oh, she real cray. Kiko, that is +4 insanity. Rhonda's going to get a lot of insanity. Oh, she only has 2, so she's going to get 5. And then finally, Kumar is just going to get 4. All right, that is handled. So now we just need Rhonda to reveal this next event. This is a Flower Night event. Sudden life. The branches overhead are suddenly alive with writhing insects. All at once, thousands of insects begin to sing, filling the air with a vibrating wall of noise. The din brings the survivors to their knees. All non-deaf survivors suffer 1 event damage to their head hit location that ignores armor points. Neat. If any survivor has 3+ understanding, they may plug their ears with spongy moss and help the others do the same. Otherwise, the overwhelmed survivors suffer 1 brain event damage and begin the showdown knockdown. So this is nice, because we triggered 3+ understanding just a couple cards ago. But still, everybody will get that 1 event damage straight to their head. Oof. Don't feel great about that. I don't think this is going to apply as brain trauma. And then nothing really going on here. We did apply the Quixotic. So if you're insane when you depart, +1 survival, +1 strength token. She does have the strength token here. And I should have accounted for that on her sheet or on the overlay. Again, Flower Night doesn't particularly matter, but yeah. All right, well, that wasn't great, but not too bad. And then we get to start our showdown. So we got some new stuff here. So let's take a quick look at the showdown for the Flower Night. In the heart of the forest dwells a delicate gardener who appreciates solitude over all things. Sadly, the dangerous flora and fauna it cultivates are desired by many. To preserve the hidden world it has created for itself, it trades its tools for a deadly blade without hesitation. So for our showdown setup, we have our fairy ring. All right. Then we get a flower patch, a random terrain card, and our survivors start around the edge of that fairy ring. We'll figure out exact positioning in just a minute. What else have we got here? Flower patches set up within 2 spaces of a board edge. So we'll set it up here, maybe. We'll figure that out. Then it looks like we got some acanthus. So, yeah, maybe put 1 here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's probably fine. We cannot put terrain in the fairy ring. The fairy ring, well, we'll get to that. We'll get that in a second. As for the Flower Night itself, why did I do that? Looking at its basic stats, starts with 7 basic actions, 4 advance, so 12 wounds, small uptick from the Gorm, 7 movement, so very quick, only 6 toughness. So theoretically, mathematically, not difficult to damage. Also get a couple of special abilities we'll talk about in a minute. Instinct of Germinate. Scattered pollen flows back to the fairy ring. Place the Flower Knight in the center of the showdown board and remove a +1 luck token from all survivors. Interesting. As for the Flower Knight's basic action, starting off with, if there are no threats in the fairy ring, perform Bloom. We'll get to that in a moment. Picks its target, nothing particularly crazy there. Move and attack. 3 speed, 2 accuracy, 0 damage. Interesting. What does any of that mean? So we have our trait of Bloom. When this is performed, target a random survivor outside the fairy ring. They suddenly vanish. They get a +1 luck token, and they are doomed until the end of the monster turn. The target emerges from a flower. Place them standing in the closest free space inside the fairy ring. Turn the monster to face the target. So if the monster does not have a valid target available at the beginning of its turn, it will definitely have one, because it will bring the closest threat in facing into the fairy ring. Or bring a survivor into the fairy ring, and they will be the closest threat facing. We also have Set Roots. The Flower Knight has +1 damage token for each survivor in the fairy ring. The Flower Knight does not allow terrain to exist inside the fairy ring. If a terrain tile would move into the fairy ring, it stops short at its border. If the terrain tile would be placed inside the fairy ring, nothing happens. So, no other terrain inside the fairy ring. And here's where, again, 0 damage comes into play. Flower Knight gets +1 damage for everybody standing inside. So we're going to try to be tactical, try to fight the Flower Knight near the edge, where Kiko can make use of his range. Again, hopefully Violet can get her wound in relatively easily, and then she can back out and start picking flowers and throwing bone darts. Big picture, if we can pull this off, only Kumar and one other person will be inside the ring at any one time. And we can use dash actions to kind of manipulate that a bit as we are playing. Other than that, I think I have some stone noses to take a look at here. So Violet, already capped on survival. Violet will get another insanity. Nothing going on there. Rhonda will also get another insanity, and she will get a survival for her. Only one that was not capped. Our current cap is 5. And I think now all of that has been handled. We're ready to kick off the showdown. Let's get everybody in place. Hold on. Let's think about this. So does the Flower Knight start facing away? That doesn't sound right. I guess it doesn't really matter because the board is symmetrical. Oh, they changed my interface. What's happening here? Sorry, had a little spam to deal with there. There we go. Ban. Got it. This particular hunting party is definitely ready for the asylum. We have not had a lot of insanity going on in the settlement. Brain trauma has been rampant, unfortunately. All right, so setting up here. Rhonda is not going to... We're going to try to keep Rhonda out until Violet can get her wound, because I don't want all 3 of them to be in there. Let's just bring Violet to a place where she can get into a good position. And we're going to turn, again, flower. It's a symmetrical board, so no big deal there. Okay. And Kumar hang out over here. Or no, he has to be, they all have to be adjacent, so that works. All right, we get to see our first AI card. Of course, we get a mood straight off the bat. The eyes in the Flower Knight's helm glow intensely, bringing strange tears to the survivors' faces. All survivors suffer -3 accuracy while they were in the Flower Knight's facing. The only way to get rid of it is for the bruised ego severe critical or whatever it's called. Yeah. So good news, at least for now, that counts as a wound. And we get to draw another AI card. Glissade. Closest threat facing in Fairy Ring is nobody. Closest threat in range, we are of course going to choose Kiko. The monster stamps its foot and shrieks frightfully. Target suffers 1 brain damage. That's fine. Kiko's got more than enough insanity. And then move and attack. Realistically, we're going to roll the attack just for rolling purposes. So hits on a 2. I clicked on the wrong person there. Sorry. Give me a second. Still getting the ins and outs of this overlay figured out. There we go. So, wrong one. There we go. Hits on a 2. Kiko has a bunch of evasion, so hit on 5s. We would get 2 hits, but there is currently nobody in the Fairy Ring, so it's a 0 damage attack. I believe the after damage trigger still triggers, even though there was 0 damage. That's fine. Full move the monster towards the center of the showdown board. So I think that just means that happens. Because it will stop at the center of the showdown board, I believe is how that works. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So that throws us off a bit. Because if only one had hit, we could have dodged and avoided the runaway, but it is what it is. All right, well, we'll start off with the easy stuff. We will have Rhonda pick an Acanthus. With a 4, nothing. Okay. I don't want to go all the way in. And then, like, if we just look at what we know, closest threat in facing, closest threat in facing. I think we just chill for a turn. We can have Kiko Rawhide Headband. Okay, we've got another mood. Don't like that. So 1,000 cuts, closest threat facing, closest survivor. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely better than this. Because don't want to do any healing. Or, okay. So it's going to heal. Actually, this will be fine because it'll do nothing. So there's nothing in the wound stack right now. And then the minute something does hit the wound stack... Okay, so yeah, this is literally a free card. Yeah, so we have a free turn. So what we can do... Can I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I can get Violet in for a swing. Hitting on an 8. No, it was worth a shot. Might as well. No, because we don't want to actually do... No, it's fine. It's fine. Because it doesn't... Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So we're safe to do another attack here. So Kumar will be hitting on sixes with 2 hits. One of them perfect. This is not active yet, unfortunately. All right. So we got some stuff here. Our first parry location. So parry is a failure unless you crit. And then we have Fey Breaches. Okay, interesting. So we might as well do this one first because the failure actually isn't that bad. So this does have Deadly, which I think I forgot last time around. So 9 or higher is the only thing that matters. And okay. All right. So, uh-oh. I didn't think this through. I've already messed up because now this is gone. I got greedy. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. We might utilize some dashes here. Turn the Flower Knight to face the attacker. They gain +2 insanity. Yeah, that's exactly what we need here is more insanity. Or no, that wasn't a fail. I'm an idiot. Okay. Get it together, Sam. Get it together. All right, so we actually get to do Breakthrough. So we do not have Fencing. Let's see what that is. For a brief instant, a weakness is found in the Flower Knight's seemingly impenetrable defenses. With a ferocious blow, the survivor is able to overcome the Flower Knight's bird-like reflexes. If the settlement has innovated drums, we have not. I'm doing better, Josh. I'm doing better. Seizing the moment, the attacker attempts to break through. Roll a d10 and add the survivor's luck. Kumar doesn't have any luck. No. But we're still going to do it. With a big old 2, vines twist and coil around your torso, pulling you away. If you are inside the fairy ring, you are knocked down. On the nearest free space outside of it, gain a +1 luck token. That actually works out for the best. So it's going to be there. It would be there or there, but it's the same distance. So we're going to choose. No, we're going to choose here, actually. And we get ourselves a +1 luck. I might as well grab a bunch of those because I think we're going to need them. Whoops, what happened there? I think I put them back. I clicked one too many times. So get yourself +1 luck there, buddy. And then this does not happen. All right, so now we got to plan around this because I got greedy. So this will target Violet. I mean, she could probably tank it, but I'd rather not if I can avoid it. So we're just going to spend a survival on Violet to dash. To get ourselves out of that ring. Yeah, this is not something we want Violet to deal with. Wish I probably should have blocked with Kiko, but I've headbanded instead. Do not have Surge yet, which is a little annoying. All right, that's good enough. That's, and then got to keep this in mind. We were behind him, so that's fine. All right, so 1,000 cuts comes into play. Nobody's in the fairy ring, so closest survivor in range is literally everyone. So we will choose Kiko once again. So 3 speed, hitting on 5s. No hits. Perfect. So then again, so this is not an after damage trigger, it's an actual flow step. If the target did not survive or did not suffer any injuries, perform this card again, targeting the same survivor. So this actually, we just have to keep doing this until we take an injury. Because what was it? The Gorm? No, the Butcher with Hack City. That was an after damage trigger. This is an actual flow step. So there's nothing we can do. Because like even if we try to like dash cancel it, it just performs the card, not the action. Probably should have read this a little closer. But I think that's correct. So we just want to take hits. Okay. So we might be here a while. That is 2 hits. So that is 1 damage each. Hand in hand. That's actually not bad. Because we want to take a light wound as soon as possible. And then we do the whole card again. Where did the other die go? There it is. That is 1 hit. To the legs. Alright, so got to remember how this works next time it comes up. 3 hits that time. Okay. Come on, hands. Body, body, body. Okay, all right, that is what it is. So he will take his light wounds to the body, and then this is over. Okay. Now I understand how that card works, and I never want to see it again. Noted. Okay, back around to Survivor's turn. Kumar will stand up. So here's the thing. I would like for Kiko to work on shield proficiency, but he's going to be at -3 accuracy, so that ain't going to work. And I don't want him to not be in front of the monster. So Kiko's just going to stand and block. That's fine. Rhonda, let's let Rhonda come gather up this flower patch. With a 6, +1 luck token, and a random flower resource. So Rhonda is now critting on 5s. Once Rhonda enters the battle, it's going to be a sight to see. And a flower resource. Do I have that out yet? I do not. Is that? I'm assuming it's in the Flower Knight bundle. Come on. Nope. Where are my flowers? Where are my flowers? I guess that is the Flower Knight. Yeah. Because all the Flower Knight's resources are flowers. So we start off with a Lantern Bloom. Nice. So we will get to what happens here in the settlement phase and not really worry about it for now. We will let Violet step into the fairy ring. Again, trying to get that Twilight Sword hit. Oh, we got a hit. All right. Super Dense is fine, because Twilight Sword is not fragile. Might be a factor once we start flinging Bone Darts, but we'll worry about that when we worry about that. Strength of 9. So this is just wounding on a 2 or more. Is that... right. So we will have to spend a survival to dash. Thank you for reminding me on that one. Should have done that last time around, but thank you for keeping me honest. I forgot about Cumbersome. So we will dash so that we can get in with the Twilight Sword and attack. I forgot it has all these freaking words on it. Because I think once you get to level 2, it ignores cumbersome, if I'm remembering correctly. But anyway. Strength of 9, so we're wounding on a 2+. That is a crit! Attacker may spend 1 survival to gain +1 permanent accuracy. You bet. We are doing that. That will be very helpful in future attempts at getting this done. And then, okay, so we will mark that one. Check. Kumar also got an axe wound. Check. Oh, I forgot about this thing. It didn't come up, but I always forget. All right, so Kumar is going to step out of facing so that he does not suffer the -3 accuracy and swing with his axe. 2 more hits. All right, so we got this again. And what happens here? All right, so we might as well go for... yeah, it's fine. Might as well go for this because this is... well... oh, no, this is fine because Kumar's not adjacent, so we don't have to worry about that. So we're definitely starting with this one. What are we at here? I forget. 4 +5 +6. Yeah, so wounding on a 2. That's a wound. Oh, and I forgot. Check. Forgot to record the other one. So if the attacker is adjacent to Flower Knight, they're viciously kicked away. Kumar is not adjacent because he has reach. And then we'll see what we get here. Not happening. So perform basic action targeting Kumar. So 3 speed, hitting on... Kumar's got a lot of evasion, so hitting on 5s. That is 1 hit. And it will be 1 damage because Violet is in the fairy ring. To his head. That's okay. Because he took that heavy wound to his head in the hunt phase, but he still has his armor. Okay. And then I did say Kiko was going to be blocking. But... now that Kumar's in the facing, we might as well take our shot with the shield now. Whoopsie. Because I don't really have a good move for Kiko to get into facing. So, hitting on 7s. Hitting on 6s, because Kiko does have that +1 accuracy now. That is 1 hit. -2 toughness to wound. That's actually nice, although Kiko's a beast anyway. So 1 strength. Kiko has naturally 3 strength. 3 speed, right. Thank you, sir. That would have hit as well. Okay, so we're still going to do this one first. So what did I say? We're at 4 strength, -2, so this will be wounding on a 2. That is a wound. I don't think he has no extra luck, so that's not a crit, but it is a wound. So that is that checked off, and then also once per round, since he wounded, we get our block 1 anyway. Don't think that's going to be too much of a factor. So then for this one, he will be wounding on a 3. And that is a wound, so we don't have to worry about the failure reaction. Rhonda is already gone, so we are good to move on. All right, Bladed Kick. If there are no threats in the fairy ring, perform Bloom. We don't need to do that. Closest threat in facing in the fairy ring is nobody. Closest threat in the fairy ring will be Violet, but that's probably okay. Speed 2, 2 accuracy. Violet has 1 evasion, so this will be hitting on 3s. That's, of course, 2 hits. So it's going to be 1 damage each to the hands and the body. She has plenty of armor because we gave her that extra 3, so that's fine. Knockback 7 and bleed 1 is suboptimal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So Violet's going to be doing a lot of running around for a bit and another bleed. Because she's going to take the long way around. We're not sending her through the middle of the fairy ring. But otherwise, we're good to go there. All right. So, all right, well, we'll just do the simple thing first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just Violet's starting her journey. Then I think the play here is to bring Kiko around to the front to block. And then let Rhonda start Rhondaing. So Fist and Tooth, I don't think she has any accuracy, so we're still hitting on 7s here. It's 2 hits. All right, what's happening here? All right, so we might as well start with this one. So critting on a 5 is all that matters. Because she would normally be wounding on a... Okay, no, she'll be wounding on a 4 because of the -2 toughness. It's 1 strength, -2. Yeah. So wounding on a 4, but critting on a 5 is the bigger thing here. Yeah. The Flower Knight's sword arm is ruined. Attacker gains 1 survival and 1 random flower resource. If the Flower Knight is inside the fairy ring, it gains a -1 accuracy token. Neat! All right, so Rhonda, survival. She has room for survival. And a flower resource. And then do I have accuracy out here? I do not have to get that in a second. All right, so we get another flower resource. It's our friends. So we're going to be seeing a lot of these guys. Don't worry about it. And then I get a -1 accuracy. Oop. There we go. All right, so that is handled. And then this one, just looking for that 5 on this one. Yeah, of course. So, 2 wounds. Gotta do that. Can't forget. And then we do breakthrough. So again, roll a d10, add the survivor's luck. So that is going to be a +4 on this. Because we don't count the deadly from the Fist and Tooth, where we've written our extra 1 from. So we're at +4. Yep, that's a 10+. So, pressing through, your senses sharpen until you are nearly overwhelmed. Gain the Fencing Secret Fighting Art. All survivors gain +1 survival. I think that's only going to affect Violet. Correct. So she'll get 1 survival back. That's helpful. And we get Fencing. Nice. So what does that mean? Ignore parry when attempting to wound hit locations. And then when a monster attacks you, roll a d10 on a 6+, ignore a hit once per round. Very cool. I don't remember if that's going to do something later, but we'll worry about later. All that's left is Kumar. We're just going to have him take a nice step back to be safe. Two more hits. Kumar is doing work. All right, so we'll start with this one because it's impervious. Nothing happening there. That's fine. Whoops. And then we got another one of these guys. All right, so that is a failure. Flower Knight sidesteps. Without turning, move the monster 3 spaces towards the center of the showdown board. Unfortunate. 1, 2, 3. That's the best move to make. It's a legal move. So that will knock down Kiko, because any other direction would have landed on Kiko. That's not too bad. Hello, Lantis. Welcome to the Flower Patch, where everything is fine. And that is everybody's turn. So we are back to our monster. Appel. If there are no survivors in the fairy ring, perform Bloom. We do have a survivor in the fairy ring. Closest threat facing in the fairy ring is nobody. Closest survivor in the fairy ring will be Kiko. All right, so this will still be hitting on now 6s because he has -1 accuracy. Of course it's 2 hits. Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe block is still valid when you're knocked down, correct? He did throw up a block. I think so. I don't know. That is how complicated this game is. Let's double check. No. This is in my favor. Spend activation to ignore X hits the next time you are attacked. Last until your next act. May not use block more than once per attack. That's fine. And then let's just double check knocked down. When they're knocked down, turn miniature on his side. Knockdown survivors always stand at the end of the next monster turn. If survivors knocked down in the middle of their attack, the remainder of the attack is canceled. Knockdown survivors may only spend survival to dodge. Cannot spend activation or movement. So block is still active, according to the rules as written. So, since he can dodge while knocked down, we will block one of those attacks and dodge the second one. So that we don't have to worry about all this. Let's see if he gets his survival back. He does. So, no damage. So, since we blocked and dodged, this trigger does not matter. Perfect. End of the monster's turn. Kiko will stand up because he got knocked down on the survivor's turn. All right. Now we got to start thinking about some positioning. Do we back up? Yeah, we take some steps back. So we want to try to draw him this way. I don't want anybody else to step into the fairy ring. So Rhonda, might as well go for this last Acanthus. The 5. +1 survival. I don't think that matters. It does not. Boo. Oh well. I don't think Violet's in range. 6, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, but if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she will be in range to at least attempt a bone dart. This will not be hitting on 6s because she does have that +1 accuracy. It is a hit. Okay. That's a fail. Move the monster 3 spaces. Right. And that's, we might as, okay, so Kiko blocked. We should at least have Kumar head. We can't headband because there's nothing. So we don't, again, if I remember correctly, we don't get to look if there's nothing in the pile. That's fine. We'll figure it out. Okay. Glissade. Closest threat facing in Fairy Ring. Perfect. 1 brain damage to Kiko. That's fine. And then move and attack. Again, this stupid thing. You need to keep him towards the edge of the board. So yeah, hitting on 5s. 6s, right. 2 again. So again, block and a dodge. Does not get the survival back. So again, no after damage trigger, so he will stay put, which is what we want. Back to our turn. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do that last. So we'll start with Kumar, 'cause we got to be getting close to the trap. Kumar hitting on those big 6s still. Kumar, you monster! Oh, also, I gotta remember, this is done. Yeah. All right. Okay, that's pretty good. That's not pretty good. All right, so we'll start with this one. What do we say? Wounding on 2? Yeah, wounding on 2. Critting on 9. Ooh, that's unfortunate. Oh, wait, we have axe proficiency. Or axe specialization. So I get to ignore it and attempt to wound that location again. That's a wound. Okay. Attacker gains +1 courage and is knocked down unless they spend a survival. Kumar has survival to spare. That's fine. Gets a little courage. Oh, he already had one. That's... Oh, because that's Rhonda. You dummy. I need to get some better formatting on my little app here. There we go. And then for this one, same deal. I was really hoping not to get that one, but oh well. So, I believe I forgot to account for that, so that should be 2 more. Not adjacent, so they don't suffer bash. However, again, he retreats. Might as well have Violet throw her dart. That is a miss. And then I think that's our turn. Because I think Rhonda got the Acanthus at the start of this turn. If I'm remembering correctly, I mean, it's not a big deal. She's just like going to step up a little bit if I forgot. So that's fine. Come to the edge of the ring. Bladed kick. Okay, good there. Closest threat facing in Fairy Ring. Perfect. So, same as always. He's hitting, it's hitting so hard. Hitting on 6s, and I don't think it's missed yet. So again, block 1, dodge 1. We will get the survival back, so nothing happens. This is a little annoying, but the fight is going fine. All right, and we'll just do that all again. We'll save Rhonda for last again, just in case. Yeah, we'll let Kumar go first. Keep up this pattern. 2 more hits. My goodness, Kumar. Yeah, it was only a matter of time. All right, place the Flower Knight in the center of the Showdown board. Check. Place the attacker in front of the monster. Gain a +1 luck token. Okay. We will absolutely take that. I forgot he had a +1 luck. I don't think it mattered. Each of the other survivors is grasped by the roots and pulled in. Unless they spend 1 survival, place them 5 spaces closer to the Flower Knight. Yeah, so we're going to do that. Everybody's going to spend a survival so that this isn't a bajillion damage. And unfortunately for Rhonda, that means spending 2 survival, because she does have Ghostly Beauty. And it's all survival spent, not just on survival actions. Okay. All survivors are doomed. Perform basic action targeting the attacker. So this will be hitting on 6s. 2 hits. And it's going to be 2 damage because we have 2 people in the fairy ring. So 2 damage each. Waist and body should be okay. Yep. That is why we had Kumar go. I knew that was coming sooner or later. All right. Really the only thing we can do... Rhonda can just step up a little bit, and we can try another Bone Dart with another miss. Okay. So we don't have anything too crazy left in here. Kumar might take a little bit of damage, but that's okay. It's possible for the Flower Knight to miss. It is mathematically possible. All right, so let's just bring that Flower Knight turn around. With our bladed kick. Yep. All right, so this is going to be Kumar. Uh-oh, get back here. Where'd you go? Hitting on 6s. All right, 1 hit is fine, because Kumar can just dodge that. Or we might actually want to take the knockback. No, that would be dumb. It's got a bleed attached to it. Kumar can just step back. That's fine. Yeah, that would be silly. Kumar's got Rawhide, so might as well spend the dodge. And get the survival back anyway. All right, back around to our turn. Gonna spend a little survival here on Kumar. So we're gonna have him move here. Attack. Oh no, we don't want him to move there, because he's gonna be minus accuracy. So we want him to move here and attack. Kumar actually misses. It's possible. And then he's going to spend a survival to dash. He will lose that survival. That's okay. Just to get out of the fairy ring. Back to his position. Keeping up. We're going to move Kiko here just for safety's sake. Violet might as well throw her dart. Nope. And Rhonda's just going to chill because we want to lure the stupid Flower Knight back out again. We're getting close, but it's still a little too early to go all in and risk taking big damage attacks. Just play it safe, and the Flower Knight will not be a problem. Yep, so, also 1 brain damage to Kiko. Kiko blocked last turn, because again, he didn't do anything. Should not have moved Kiko where I moved him. That was silly. I should have left him there. Two hits, so again, block and dodge. Does not get the survival back. All right. Rhonda, can you just, like, end this? Because I did a dumb thing with Kumar. Or with Kiko. I should have left Kiko here, because now Kumar's out of range. Let's see. Might as well start with the Bone Dart. See where we get. That's a miss. Okay. Rhonda can't get into the blind spot. I really messed up by moving Kiko. Okay. So Rhonda will be hitting on 7s from here. No, 8s. Just gotta start taking some swings, though. 1 hit. It's the trap again. Are you serious? This is happening again. Oh no. That's another luck token for Rhonda. I have made a grave mistake. All right. So yeah, again, everyone's just going to spend the survival. Rhonda's going to take some damage. So 3 speed, hitting on 3s. Ouch. So let's see, it's all survivors are doomed. Yeah, we can't dash out of the way with Kiko. That would have been smart, but can't do it. That is 3 hits, so that is 2 damage each. Hands, body, body. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Oop, wrong way. That's going to be a severe on the body. I don't think we have anything that'll help with that. Fencing doesn't help with that. Oh, no, we get to... It is a monster attacking. Can we ignore a hit? We cannot. Dang. Extra sense, we can't dodge. Nothing else happening here. Okay, so that's a severe body injury on Rhonda. Let's see what happens there. Seven should be all right. Ruptured spleen. Skip the next hunt, gain 2 bleeding tokens. That's probably okay. She can get the bleed off of herself. Skip the next hunt. That's acceptable. I was very worried. Nothing else. Okay. And she is knocked down. So, all right. What we should do, How are we doing on our survival here? 2, 2. All right, I gotta get her out of there. So we are going to use Kumar to encourage Rhonda. He will get his survival back. And then Rhonda is going to spend the last of her survival dashing out of there. Just get as far away as you can, Rhonda. That's probably better. All right. Yep, that's fine. And then we're going to fix that mistake we made before and scoot Kiko over. Yeah, I think that's all we can do this turn. Kiko's going to block. Rhonda has acted. Violet has acted. Kumar doesn't have anything that he can really do. So that's fine. Just keep playing it slow. All right, bladed kick. So we can get back to a smart position. Okay, misses. Misses make this so much simpler. Okay, back around to our turn. So Kumar goes first. That is 1 hit. Don't think that's going to matter. So we're good either way. So what are we doing here? We're wounding on a 4. We're critting on a 7. Or no, we're wounding on a 2. We're critting on a 7. Right. That's a crit. Flower Knight's helmet is damaged if the monster is inside the fairy ring, gains a -1 accuracy, and the attacker gains a +1 luck and a random flower resource. Excellent. That is a wound. So I need another minus accuracy. And another flower resource with the Sighing Bloom. Okay, good, good. We really need resources. And that's the end of that. We ignore the reflex because of the crit. 2 wounds left. Again, probably too early to start going all in. We'll throw our Bone Dart again with a hit. All right, not super dense, so that's fine. She can take a hit if she needs to. Okay, so perform basic action. No, she's got to move there, which will knock back Kumar. Because it's 2 steps this way. Any other way would have been 3 steps. We have to take the slowest. Violet can take some hits. That's okay. Basic action. So this will now be hitting on 5s because of the -2 accuracy. One hit. That is going to be 1 damage. To her waist is fine. Glad we took all that extra armor on her. Oh, Josh, what did I forget? Did I only roll 2? I guess I only rolled 2. Thank you, sir. All right. That was Violet's attack. So the only card left in the AI deck is going to target whoever's in the fairy ring. So, yep, Kiko will block. Rhonda will get into position, but she's just going to use her bandages to remove 2 bleeds to play it safe. Easy peasy. So we're just going to draw Bladed Kick again. Come back this way. This one's only 2 speed. 1 hit, which we're just blocking. Easy. No problem. All right, Kumar will stand up. Kumar's still our best bet to deal wounds. No hits this time. Okay. Violet with the dart. Gets a hit. Oh, it's another. All right. 3 spaces towards the center. Goodness. 1, 2, 3. And then now we just play another waiting game. At least we're in a safe position. So if it takes turns, it takes turns. So once again, Bladed Kick. Just going to move in again. Hitting on, God, what is it now? 7s? This would be 5s. Yeah, 7s. Still got a hit, but we're still blocking. And we loop back around once again. Start the whole process over. Kumar. 1 hit. All right, so now what is Kumar critting on? 9, 8, 7, 6. All right, it's the wound. I'll take that. Now the question is, do we send in Rhonda? Well, let's see what Violet can do first. Get a hit. That weird little glitch is still popping up. All right, so what are we at here? 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so we're wounding on a 2 anyway. All right, and that's it, because she doesn't have any extra luck. So that is the end of the Flower Knight. So again, not a very hard fight as long as you can keep yourself to the edge of the fairy ring. That's the real tactic. That way you're not taking too much damage. We had a little bit of extra stuff to work around because of this card, but not a big deal. What do we get? Show me those rewards. All right, 1 hunt XP, 1 proficiency level, right? That's standard and everybody gets it. So we got a point in Twilight Sword. Got a point in Shield here. Slowly making progress on Fist and Tooth. All right. I was having a thought and I forgot what it was. Oh, that's right. Let me just do it this way. So keeping in mind for the Twilight Sword specialization, don't get anything before rank 2. So Twilight Sword specialization works differently from the other ones. The other ones, you're either nothing, a specialist at 3, or a master at 8. Twilight Sword works a little differently. So 1 more and it becomes usable. Although we don't want to get too much because you'll see when we get there. All right. And then we get our rewards. All right. When the survivors defeat the Flower Knight, do they gain the Flower Knight Badge Rare Gear and add the Petal Spiral Innovation to the Settlement's Innovation deck? So let's just do that again. Oh, this little eyeglass is so nice. So this is unique. At the start of the showdown, draw 1 tactics card and gain +1 evasion token. What is a tactics card? Well, we'll worry about that later. All right. And put the pedal spiral into the innovation. Our innovation deck is so stacked, and we don't have Symposium yet. I don't feel good about that. If any survivors have the Fencing, Secret Fighting Art, and the Ghostly Beauty disorder, they gain the Narcissistic disorder and +1 permanent evasion. If we reference our friend Rhonda here, she has Fencing, she has Ghostly Beauty, so she will get Narcissistic. What does that mean? You may not wear armor at the head location. That's not great. If you are wearing armor at the head location when you gain this disorder, archive it. All right, so we're going to lose our skull helm. So let's go put that back. And goodbye, skull helm. I did not think we were going to trigger this as early as we did. Next element phase, we get to sense memory. We'll do that in a bit. 4 basic, 4 flower. So, and then here's the other part. If the settlement has innovated pedal spiral when they defeat the level 3 flower knight, all survivors with Fencing, Ghostly Beauty, and Narcissistic gain True Blade. But we're not there yet. Obviously, we have not fought a level 3. So 4 basics and 4 flowers. Question, hide, bone, organ, perfect. And then 4 more flowers. Osseous bloom, sighing bloom, lantern bloom, osseous bloom. All right. That is the end of our Flower Knight Showdown. So we get to return to our settlement. Get our endeavors. Let's go chuck this thing back in. Update our timeline. So we get a settlement event. Let's start there. It is Elder Council. The elders of the settlement gather to reminisce over their hard-won scars. Count the total number of hunt XP among all survivors. Add the bonuses and consult the table. So no saga, no scarification, no records. All right, we got to do math. What do we got going on over here? So 4, 8, 12, 17, 19, 23, 26, 29, 30. So we're at a 30. -1 endeavor. Okay. One of the elders recalls a story about a bizarre lion it met on a dangerous hunt. The monster was mourning, and in its paw held a tattooed human hand. Add the Beast of Sorrow to your quarry list. You'll find its rules on the Legendary Monster Story event page. You may now hunt this monster. So we lose an endeavor. That sucks, but I think we're all right. And we add Beast of Sorrow. We are not going to be doing this anytime soon. But it's there. All right. Then we have on our timeline, we are not doing Armored Strangers because we do not have the Kingsman. We have to do Gorm Climate, though. This stupid, stupid Gorm Climate. Add the Gorm Climate to the next lantern year. Roll our d10. With a 9. Do we have storytelling? No. The settlement struggles against the quaking ground, linking arms to brace themselves against the storm. Nominate a survivor with 0 hunt XP. They draw strength from the settlement's determination and gain +1 courage. That would be nice. Except the only person we have with no hunt XP is also apathetic, which means they cannot gain courage. But honestly, a Gorm Climate where nothing happens is just as good. And we have Sense Memory this lantern year as well. All right, so Sense Memory. Can we appreciate for a moment how great all of the art for the Flower Knight is? Rushing into the settlement, the returning survivors desperately attempt to convey to the others the powerful memories that dwelt in the very air of the glade. Even as they pass the settlement's threshold, the memories fade and the delicate blooms clutched in their hands wilt. The settlement may pour their inspiration into inspired crafting, so we can make some special items. Realistically here, the Vespertine foil is very good. Vespertine foil has the downside that you have to sacrifice a flower every year or you lose it. The satchel helps with that, but at this point in the campaign, we need our resources very badly, so that's not going to be an option. Without that, there's really no need for the satchel. Cello's cool, but instruments are very limited. But we should be able to make a Vespertine bow, which is awesome. But before we get to that, let us innovate. So we will spend that and then just grab our nice little 1, 2, 3 combo here and innovate. Oh, goodness. Scrap smelting or Citrinus? I mean, I guess we're going to take scrap smelting because Citrinus is not helpful. The good news is this thins out the deck because there's no consequences to it. So we're going to take it. We're nowhere near that yet. Still no paint. Still no Symposium. What you going to do? You play the cards that you're dealt. All right. Let's gather up all our goodies. So we got a question mark. Osseous Bloom is a bone. Let's just like kind of stack those sort of together. Sighing Bloom is an organ. Lantern Bloom is a hide. Warbling Boon is also a hide, but we're going to set him aside for now. So to make our Vespertine bow, we need an Osseous, a Sighing, an organ, and a hide. So let's just do that. Osseous and Sighing. Might as well just do organ and hide. And we'll get ourselves a Vespertine bow. So what is that? Vespertine bow is just an awesome little bow. So it's got 3 speed, 6+, only 1 strength, but it does have deadly. So it's just a straight upgrade to our ranged attacks. Let's just start working on bow proficiency. This used to be the most overpowered item in the game. I think it used to have like 6 strength, which is insane. They did fix that in the 1.6 upgrade, so this is now balanced. Okay. And the Vespertine arrow, we're probably not going to make one, but let's just take a look at it real quick, just so y'all know what it means. Vespertine arrow, 2 speed, hits on 6+, deadly 4, which is awesome. But you archive it after use. So if you have extra flowers that you have no other use for, you can make arrows. And you get to make a flower patch, which gives you a good chance of getting a flower back. So it's kind of recursive to an extent. But optimally, you don't want to miss. So this is really cool. If you have something like the Cat's Eye Circlet, or once we have our Wisdom Potion, which, gosh, hopefully we can get that sooner rather than later, where you have good hit locations lined up, but we're not there yet. right, so that leaves us with a question mark, a bone, and a hide. So we should probably start working on some leather. Wait, that's a bone and a leather. Yeah, we want to do actual leather first. So we might as well just get started. I will use the lantern bloom as a hide. I will use the question mark as a hide. We will spend an endeavor to make leather to give us 2 leather. And then with 2 leather and a bone, I can make a leather cuirass and a leather skirt. That should be the play. So that is all that's taken care of. And then we still got this little guy. Is he so friendly? So we haven't talked about it. Perishable means this can't be added into settlement storage, which I forgot. What is even in settlement storage? Nothing particularly useful. So at the end of the lantern year, at the end of the settlement phase, if we haven't used it, it just rots away. You may plant this during the settlement phase to archive it and gain +1 population. The survivor is born with the flower addiction disorder and a face, just like the warbling blooms. So we plant this flower and we harvest ourselves a little baby. So let's get ourselves a baby, and they have flower addiction. Which, now that I'm thinking of it, we come back over to Rhonda, who had flower addiction, but it is cured now. So, next lantern year, probably go after the Gorm again. Just another level 1 Gorm. And just keep progressing, because like the Flower Knight is an easy fight, don't get me wrong. Yeah, okay, actually I think I will do another Flower Knight, because that way I can easily get this up to 2. Rhonda can't join us because she has to skip the next hunt. Otherwise she's okay, everybody's okay. So we had to skip with Asteria last time around. She is good to join us now. Ribblade, I would like to have more weapons with reach, but I don't. Although I do have a dedicated bow now. So do we start training up a bow user? Who have we got? So we got Shirley, who was a grand weapon user just because she was available. Extra movement is never bad. Timeless Eye is never bad. Maybe we start training up Shirley. Asteria, she's a beast. Sonya, Sonya's just a worst Shirley, honestly. And Farley was our other Fist and Tooth user we were training up. Has +1 accuracy. That might be worth. What was traumatized again? That's fine. So this is good. So yeah, if we train up Farley as our bow user, we don't have to worry about traumatized. That's probably the play then. We still have 1 endeavor left. Do we have anything particularly useful we can do with it? Want to start working on this. Yeah, we had to spend a bunch of resources to make the bow this year. So getting the weapon crafter open might be our next goal. Just need a couple osseous blooms and we're good there. As you can see, we drew several osseous blooms. Organ grinder, would like to get that open at some point, but it's not super important. We can start making monster tooth necklaces now too. Obviously going to keep working on leather. So, do we have... We can't special innovate. We can't do this. I don't think we have anything worth doing here. We really need some good innovation options. Settlement watch? Maybe. Maybe. Yeah, do we settlement watch on the new baby? Just to give them a fighting art. Because the only other thing we can do is more shared experience, and that's not fun. So yeah, let's give our new baby, a fighting art. With settlement watch. Well, hopefully give him a fighting art. Yeah. They get extra cents. Nice. So this baby might grow up to be a tank. All right, not bad. That's our last endeavor spent. So yeah, I think we're just gonna have another easy flower night fight, farm some resources. See if maybe we can get another fencing person. Main reason is just to get this Twilight Sword up to 2. Once this Twilight Sword's at 2, I'll feel a lot better. And I don't want to do that against the Gorm. So, that's what we're going to do. Going to take a short break here to get all of that set up. I've got so many tokens that I need to put away. So, I'm going to take a short break, hang out on the live stream, and I'll be back in just a few.